when we got back to the house, we're like, "Where's Kenny? Where's Kenny?" We're like, "I don't know." And then open the door, open the door.
My mom was the one
He
that
was
opened the door.
swollen, like full of blood and everything. We didn't know. They got him. They beat him up. They were beating him with rocks, like throwing rocks at his face with a bat and everything.
Voice in heaven said, "Who will go for me?" Silence in the room, but the fire chose me. I heard a call through the noise of the sea. Whom shall I send? Lord, send me.
What's up, guys? Welcome to our first episode on this podcast. My name is Josh.
I'm David, and today we've got someone we've known for a long time with a tremendous testimony and just an awesome outlook on life and what God's done in his life. We got our big bro, Junior.
What's up, everybody? God bless you guys, and it's an honor to be here.
Thanks for coming, bro. Episode 1. I know it took a little bit to get you on here. It took a little persuasion.
A couple years? It took like 15 years to get you over here. Make sure
Since you were in prison, we were trying to get you on this podcast.
For real.
That's crazy, bro. You know, I would have never imagined, bro. Junior, married, 2 kids, big old beard, big old panza. Like, I would have, like, bro, it's amazing how the Lord works, bro. Like, I used to, like, just look up to you just being a gangster and like, you know, like, just being, like, drugged out and stuff. Like, to me, like, I thought that was the peak of your life. I thought you were, like, living it up. And it's kind of crazy, you know, if we could see ahead of time, like, I would have never, like, do you feel like, dang, like, what do you think if they would have told you at what, like,
when you're 40, you're gonna be doing this?
Damn.
Well, you would have told me that when I was 18 or 19.
Yeah.
I would have been like, you were smoking some good stuff from like fresh out Colombia or something.
Well, I think even before 19, when did you start, like, when was it when you really started, like, stop being like an innocent kid and more
it was pretty much since we're all from LA. We're all LA babies. South Central babies at that.
Shout out South Central.
So growing up in a split family because of whatever the circumstances was, I leave it at my parents. Whatever, it's their business. So at an early life, probably around like 5 years old, my dad became a Christian. He didn't used to be a Christian. He started reading the Bible, and there we go, the church. So church became a normal thing for us. It was just me and JoJo, and so that was my life. Church. I used to go to Sunday school, but we used to go to church a lot of days out of the week. It wasn't just like 1 or 2 days.
It was kind of like annoying, bro. Like,
when I was younger, I liked it because in the classes, like they used to teach us things. They used to challenge us in the classes to learn things. Who knows this? Who knows the most Bible verse? Who knows this? Who can memorize this? Who can tell me this? Who can answer the most questions? And we used to get prizes. So we all wanted to win.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably as a kid, it was probably like less annoying. It was probably more fun because as a kid, that's when you actually get to go to the classes and there's other kids and. You know, it's not like...
Dang, Junior ruined my life then because I remember since I was a kid, I was always looking up to what he was doing already. And I, as long as I can remember, I was a kid hating church. Like not that you ruined my life, but...
I used to look up to my older brother, too. And he was just way worse. But...
Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, I'd be in classes and I would like if I can remember, I would be there trying to like practice like bubble letters or graffiti letters on the thing. Like,
for real?
Yeah, and the Sunday school teachers would get mad at me. Or I remember one time I showed up with a chain on and like I don't remember what church. It wasn't like the actual church, but we were at another church, and I remember being a kid, and I remember like playing around with the chain, and then the Sunday school teacher or Saturday school teacher. I remember her like calling my attention, and I remember like my reaction was kind of like how I thought you would react, because like to me like I wanted to like kind of become you when I grew up. So like that was way different for us. I never liked church growing up. Like to me it was
Wow, even when you were a kid?
maybe when I was a kid, but I can't remember. Like honestly, like I feel like weed ruined a lot of my like childhood memories because I can't remember very much.
I remember Josh being into instruments, into the drums.
I remember that.
I mean,
That's
I
all
think
of
you're
that.
right, because I don't know if you remember, there was this one time, specific time, where for some reason I think my dad was gonna buy us watches or something. I don't know if we were like into it or. My dad, like whenever we would like portarnos bien, my dad would go and like buy us stuff. Like that was his way of like showing his love. And I remember there was a time where he was gonna buy us watches, but we were in the car already, and he said, okay, he was like, vamos a comprarle relojes o los llevo al servicio de jóvenes. And I remember I was like, yo quiero el servicio de jóvenes. And my dad was like, okay, vamos. And you got mad. You were like, what the heck? I don't want to go to youth service, man. I want to go buy a watch. Like, and I remember I was kind of happy. I was kind of excited about it. And he got hella mad at me. And he was just like, bro, what the heck? Like, man, we could have got watches and stuff. So, I mean, I think it might have been like that for you growing up. For me, it was definitely a little different.
Like I know from like when my mom tells me and stuff, like I was in, like I wanted to be a preacher and I would dress up and pray for people, and maybe you know too, like when I was, but
Yeah, I remember.
like since I started smoking weed like very early, I don't like, I try to remember stuff and I don't have memory, like I can't remember like a lot of those things. Like I know they happen and stuff, but I just can't, like in my mind no memory comes back of it. Like my earliest memory is probably when I was already in school, like
in middle school or what? High school?
elementary, maybe like
Elementary?
my earliest memory is like my first day of elementary, and that's because I cried and my mom left me there and I really wanted to leave, and that was like it was in these nowadays kids would say it was a traumatic event, and it formed trauma in my head. You know, no, but and then after that it was literally just maybe 5th grade is my earliest memory, which is like also when I tried my first joint. I had one bad kid that like he brought a joint to school, but yeah, I don't.
For me, it's like once I entered middle school, it's almost like I was forced into this whole lifestyle, because like as soon as you go in and it's like we're fighting, and it's like I'm getting jumped, and like the Hispanics are getting jumped by the blacks for no reason.
Rumbles.
Yeah,
what
like
did you guys
for
call
no
them
reason.
at that time?
And at Horseman Middle School. And
Horseman, yeah.
Yep. And it was like no reason. Like I had no affiliation. I wasn't kicking it with nobody. I didn't even know anybody. And I was getting rushed by these by like 4 or 5 other kids, black kids. And so
This was like your first year of middle school, like when you first went
first
into
year,
middle
like
school.
since
You
like
didn't deal
the
with
first
that?
day of middle school.
You didn't?
Oh, yeah.
deal with that? Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember
Yeah,
that.
but I don't know if it was just something that was going on at the time or not. But
No,
that's
not definitely, because me and him went through it too.
You guys went to it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's something that
And we're what, like 10 years?
probably 10 years old.
10 years.
Yeah, about 10 years
apart?
old.
Yeah.
And and started fighting, and it's almost like all the Hispanics have to get together to fight back. And we did that, and as we got together, we were like, all right, so what are we gonna call ourselves? And then we made like the first crew. It was like a little tagger crew. It wasn't even a gang, it was a tagger crew. What do you want to be called? What do you want to be called? What do you want to be called? And everybody made their own nicknames, and ever since then, like we started tagging walls, tagging your nickname on the wall, and tagging the crew. And at the same time, it's like we had other kids right there starting to bring in coke. Like coke was the first drug that I tried right there.
In middle school?
Yeah, in middle school.
Damn.
Because one of the homies had a brother that used to slang coke, and so he would bring some inside of a pen, like a pen that you write with.
Yeah.
Like you open it up, fill it with coke, and just bring it and give a little bit to everybody right there. And that's where it started for me. It was like, and it didn't end. Like it just kept going. And as I started kicking it with these kids and fighting and all this stuff, and even they'll call my dad. Oh, your son was involved in this and this, and then my dad will be like, "Who was it?" And I'll be like, "I don't know that. Like, I don't know. Like, my dad could do nothing about that really because I wasn't willing to talk
Yeah.
to like let my problems be my dad's problems,
Mm.
and maybe that was wrong in my part or not, but so he couldn't do anything about that. Probably just pray, pray.
Yeah.
But ever since then, like this whole stuff, because we started kicking it and started dressing a little different, shoes, shoelaces, supplies, everything, music, a little bit of drugs. So that started steering me away from as I grew out of elementary and no longer were going to pretty much like the kids Sunday school. Now it was like the bigger kids, and then sometimes like they'll have us be at the regular service up there, and I remember for me it was like super boring because it was like for adults. In my mind, it was for adults, and I didn't understand much of it, and not because of the language, but because it was just the the way that they talk, and
I
and
think
so
what we my bad. I think what me and Josh were talking about earlier is like, um, you just didn't have a relationship with God, like
never
because
did.
there are some kids that are like real young and like right away they get this stuff, like
Yeah,
they right away they have like they're susceptible or they're like they have this they're still in their childlike phase in order where they still have like they're able to build a relationship with God.
I think so because for me it was more like a contest. Even as a kid, like I want to win everything in the class. I want to be the fastest, the smartest, the one that wins all the prizes and everything in the class. Not really understanding the whole plan of salvation, not really understanding the power that Jesus have, don't knowing nothing about the blood, nothing about the cross, nothing about all that, and simply learning stories from the Bible. And so to me, Christianity was a knowledge thing. It was never a relationship thing. It was more like a knowledge. I know that the Bible says this. I know that it says this. I know this story. I know this stuff. But it was never like a reality or something personal in my life. And that's probably why.
Yeah, well, that's crazy because I mean, I would have probably thought that that lifestyle like attracted you. I did like I wouldn't. I don't think I would have ever thought that it was something that it was more like you went into middle school and then it was like this is the thing that's happening, and this is kind of what you have to be if you almost want to protect yourself or like, I mean, survive, right? And yeah, I mean, I feel like I would have thought maybe more like him to where like for him, I feel like he was more attracted to it because of what he was seeing you. So it's like, oh, I want that, you know. And but yeah, I don't think I ever would have thought it was something that was just almost like you opened this door, you walked in, and then you're almost like, oh snap, like what is this? And then you're just there now.
Yeah, and I also kind of had an idea of the lifestyle because of our older brother. And I remember going to visit him, whether in the hospital or at my mom's house, because they shot him this time, or they shot him again, or they shot him. And I used to see his lifestyle and how he used to dress, and his writing and everything. And even when I was like in fourth grade, I was starting to do his cursive, his calligraphy writing, and I was practicing that, and I was known for that in the middle school, and in the elementary school, and in the middle school, I kept working more on it, and when they needed something done for band or something, they'll call me out of my class and come do this. Like, okay, but
That's a trickle down effect because it's like I looked up to you, and when I went to middle to Horseman, I wasn't like how you were, where you're like, well, what is all this rumble? To me, it was like I was already trying to portray that, trying to like look for friends that dress like little gangsters and stuff. And I remember in middle school, we were in the lunch line with our lunch tickets. They used to give out lunch tickets back then, and and I remember like talking to my friend, and in the background, I seen this black dude run and just like straight up just deck a Mexican dude. And when that happened, the friend that I was talking to, he turned around, he goes, "It's a rumble, it's a rumble." and I didn't know what that was. It was like my first year in middle school too, and all of a sudden I see black dudes getting down with Mexicans, I remember him telling me, who's like, first black dude you see, we got to get down. And from there, it was like we started fighting. And in me, it wasn't more of a like what just happened. It was more like, yes, like this is what I was trying to get into type stuff. So like, and same thing, so kind of same story as you. It was like from there, like that friend and another friends that were around started nicknaming each other, and
Yeah.
and I remember there was this little like hill. There was this little hill, and there was a bunch of like another crew. I think they were like smoke or something. I don't even remember what they were called, but they would be on that hill. And I remember one of my friends was like, yeah, they're the ones that run this school. Like they're the ones that run this school. But you know, it was middle school. Like it was middle school. But in my mind, it was
like,
real.
It's a
like,
whole world.
Yeah.
It's
In
like
your mind, like middle school, it's a world.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so it's kind of crazy hearing that. I didn't know that, and it's kind of crazy because it's like, dang, like
Yeah,
it's
'cause
almost like the same spirit that was influencing you, like bounced off and started doing the same thing to me. And like I said, like in elementary, one of my friends brought a joint, and I just hit it once. I remember just coughing up. But in middle school, another friend brought coke when it's still, when coke before it's broken down, when it's still in rocks. He brought some. I didn't snort it, but I remember we were like putting it in our mouth because we were laughing how it numbs your tongue up.
Yeah.
So like, and at the time I didn't know it was coke. I thought it was crack because remember we were calling each other crackheads. Like, oh, you're a crackhead for trying it now. Like you're a crackhead. And like growing up and as though I'm like, dang, I was really just putting coke in my mouth. So listening to your story, I'm like, dang, like that's kind of crazy that it went that route.
It's I think there's certain spirits that are in certain places. You know how that you hear stories of haunted houses and everything. Well, they're real. They're real because they're familiar spirits there, and they're not spirits of family members that die. They're spirits that are familiar with the people that have lived there before. And I think in the schools too, like there's familiar spirits in school that have been there throughout the generations and they're the same spirits. The spirit of drug use, and it stays there, The spirit of racism, and it goes and it stays there. The spirit of fighting, the spirit of gangs, the spirit of tagging, the spirit of all this stuff, and it just stays there. And the new kids that come in, they encounter those spirits without knowing, and eventually, if they're not really like don't know how to fight this, they get swayed by it too, one way or another.
Well, I mean, so Pops, when you were already in middle school, Pops was already a Christian, and obviously you're talking about the spiritual side of things. I know Pops always prayed for you, whether you were doing the good or the bad. And like, were there any times like in those when you were in middle school and everything was just kind of unfolding in front of you, and obviously you were like now walking in this lifestyle where you feel like you encountered anything spiritually that kind of brought back church or like God, or like for like a quick second, or did you feel like it was all like just downhill, no breaks from there?
I didn't encounter anything with the Lord there, honestly. All it was I encountered this lifestyle and I started liking it more and more and more and more. And then I barely graduated middle school, and then high school it got worse. In high school it got worse.
Was it the same homies from middle school, or did high school you just met new people, or?
It was not the same homies. Maybe it was one or two that went to the same high school, because in middle school they spread. Like some go here, some go there.
Well, high school you went to Crenshaw, right?
I went to Crenshaw, and then I went to Jefferson High School. But in Crenshaw, yeah, it was just a different crowd. And you go to class, and you could tell already when you're in high school, like who's a tagger, who's like the gangs and stuff, and who's with it. And
you were in between at the time, like you were like in between like tagging and gangs, or
no, I was tagging.
Oh, you were tagging.
I was tagger. And I didn't get into gangs so I was older, and it was only for a little bit, and it wasn't even. It's another story in itself. But as a kid, growing up in the church, and then getting swayed by the enemy, there's certain consequences that come with that, even though you don't know it at the time. Like there's certain consequences. And a matter of fact, there's a little experience that I had, and I think I was in middle school when this happened, like about to graduate middle school. And I was at the house in LA. Because at that time I had a neighbor, Christian, I used to kick it with. We're like from the same tagging crew. And we used to go sneak out, smoke weed, and go tag the train tracks of the trains or whatever. And well, anyways, there was this one night in the living room when because I was sleeping in the living room, that I heard and I felt this. I heard this noise and I felt something that woke me up. So I woke up, I sat up, and then I looked at the corner of the dining room. There was a creature crouched down, and it was all black. Like I could see the paint around it, and I could see the form of the creature there, and I could hear it. Like it used to sound like it sounded like scales moving, like it was cracking as it moved. And it had chains in his hands, and I could hear the chains dragging on the floor because the floor was wood. And at that moment, I was like shocked, so I was like paralyzed, and then I kind of like fell back, and I couldn't move or scream or anything, and I could just hear this what I know is a demon now. It's an evil spirit coming closer. I could hear it coming closer, and I could hear the chains coming towards me, until I didn't hear him anymore. And then it seemed like forever right there, like till my dad heard something. My dad was sleeping, he heard something,
screaming, right?
And then I was like, ah. And then he came, and I was obviously like stunned, shocked, and so he prayed for me a little bit, and so that happened.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
How old were you? Do you remember when
I don't
that
know,
was?
but I remember that. That's one of the things I remember. Because we all woke up that night. Because I remember you were screaming.
Yeah, I was
I
screaming.
remember you were screaming.
So imagine that. So imagine that. At first I couldn't even scream at all. Like I could just hear this thing getting closer and closer, and then eventually, I think it was carpet. Wasn't it carpet in the living room, or it was still wooden floor?
Carpet, yeah.
So like once
I remember that so good, bro. I don't know why, but you were actually sleeping on one of those pull-out beds.
Yeah,
that you pull out from the couch.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was sleeping. Yep.
It's like certain events that stay with me, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that happened.
But was that your first time? Like, was that the first time encountering anything like?
Well,
like that?
No. When I was in something that was personal like that, yes. But when I was still in elementary school, like sometimes I wake up from the bunk bed. And I remember one time I woke up and I seen a snake at my feet, like a constrictor. And it was moving its head. It was moving its head like this and stuff. And I was like, whoa.
And you would see these things like...
Yeah.
Like, were you like sleeping and saw it? Or you would wake
like
up?
You would wake up. Like I woke up and I saw that right there. And I was like kind of stunned. Yeah. And kind of leaned back and then look again and it was gone. And then another time I seen, it wasn't... I saw like at the end of my bunk bed, I got up, I woke up, and I seen like one of my my classmates' faces, but it was like sideways like this, and it was like it had like a grin like this, and I seen it, I was like, oh, what the heck? What is that? And so I kind of like, chickened out, look again, and it was gone. Yeah.
So from like a young age, like. The enemy was already like attacking you this way.
Yeah, those are two that I remember.
Dang.
Well, he's always on the prowl, He's always on, especially I think because of Pops. Like he was trying to stop whatever the Lord had for Pops.
And also whatever purpose, like what the Lord is gonna, like you ended up using you for, like how he ended up reaching you. Because if we like go back to scripture, like Jesus when he was a baby, Moses, who else? I don't know, but like like to me it's like the children, bro. It's like as a child he tries to kind of stop
Yeah.
what is already like what the Lord is already destined for something great, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just think the enemy in general just hates
Oh yeah, the
humanity.
one on the list, Junior.
Huh?
I was like the other one on the list, Junior.
Junior.
Yeah, I mean, the enemy just hates humanity in general. You know, I feel like that's one of the things that us as humans, we don't actually like comprehend the fact of that the enemy just hates us. You know, and especially like him being raised by or just being like by the simply act of him being my dad's son. It's like, oh, like I'm coming after your children too. You know. So yeah, definitely. I think that's one thing that a lot of people. I don't know. A lot of people don't really believe in it. They overlook it, but it's real. It's real.
Would you like tell pops about these like times that happened, or would
I think I did. I don't remember about the one with the snake and the one when I was still in elementary school. I think I did. I just don't remember, honestly.
Yeah.
I remember that, seeing that. I just don't remember what happened afterwards. I don't know why. Maybe drugs. But
You say you got into high school and then everything just got worse.
well, yeah, because I started doing more drugs. I started smoking a lot more weed, a whole lot of more weed. I started ditching class. I would just go to homeroom. My dad wouldn't even know, so they wouldn't call the house. And then I think my dad seen me one time outside of school. He kind of chased me, but I got away from him. I was with some friends. We all had baseball, but we were looking for somebody to beat up. And so I ran back in school, and then my dad ended up finding out that I hadn't been to all these classes for a long time. So he was mad. He wanted to get me like in camp, like a correctional camp and stuff. But they ended up getting me on an attendance check. So he was like, all right, every day you have your teachers have to sign.
You got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, pretty much. And, you know, knowing me and the art skills that I had at that time, like I used to forge all my teachers' signatures with different color pens, some with pencil, just so it would look legit. And my dad, unfortunately, will fall for it for a while, you know.
when was it when some like things got serious? Like when you're like when you had a real serious consequence, either like getting arrested or like something that happened to you that when you're like, it's more than just.
Well, it was just my first encounter with the police was shoplifting. I had a friend that he used to like doing this stuff, and he knew about this mall that had this one back door that didn't have metal detectors, and I went with him like 3 times, and we literally used to take big old black trash bags and fill them up with clothes, with shoes, wallets, colognes,
This
hats.
is like the back door of into a store or into the mall.
Of a store, yeah.
Oh,
And they had all kinds
like
of
where
stuff.
they would
It had-
keep the stock.
Yeah, no, it was like a regular store, but it had like a back door somewhere with no securities and no metal detectors. And we went like 4 times, like I said. One of the times I went by myself with Alan. He was, and I was taking care of it. And I was staying up with my mom that one time. I think it was a weekend. And she went to work, and I snuck out with Alan without telling her anything.
Oh, was
babysitting him.
Yeah, I was babysitting my little brother.
How old was he at the time?
He was a kid. He was in elementary school. He was, I think, young. And I went with him, and I had him carry the bag and everything. And I was like, "Let me see your shoes." They were kind of old. I was like, "Here, put these on. Put this on. Leave your old ones there. The old ones there." So we'll walk out with brand new shoes and a bag full of stuff. And until I got caught one time, there was a cop waiting for me outside that door.
They were onto you.
Yeah, they were like,
onto
"Oh."
you.
So I was like, yeah, that was like my first.
Once again, that influence also rubbed off.
Jesus. Yep.
Also rubbed off on somebody here.
Yeah, that was my first encounter with the police, but they didn't lock me up or anything. It was when probation started for me, and I can't remember how old I was.
Was it probation for that same thing?
It was for that, yeah, for stealing. Probation started, and then I had probation pretty much till I got out of prison.
Because that's what the system is like in Cali, right? It's almost like once you get put on probation, it's almost like
You never get
it's
out.
a system to fail.
Yeah,
You're never getting off of it, especially
Yeah.
if you're already a troubled youth and you're
Yeah.
already into.
and they can lock you up just for not going to see your PO, even without not doing any crimes.
Dang. I remember one time my mom told me that you guys had gone out to the store and they were coming out the
Oh.
store and you had a bunch of desodorante.
Yeah,
and,
but I was already 18 at that time.
Dang.
I was
So
at-
all this is like what age?
When I started shoplifting,
Yeah.
I was probably like 15.
15 or 16
Yeah.
maybe. Like
It's something like right there.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, cause even like when I stole deodorant and all that stuff when I went with your mom, it was pretty stupid. It was I thought I was gonna get away with it and stuff, but because I always used to, but now they had tightened stuff up. But yeah, it was just when it came to the church, it was like, okay, I started losing interest and just losing interest. And then my pops used to work nights. So it's like, even when I got home, there wasn't a specific time that I had to do like my dad here, I want you to read the Bible for like 10 minutes. Or so I didn't have that at the house. So I used to spend my time doing other stuff. Whatever. And a lot of that stuff was kicking it with the neighbor. And they were not Christians. They weren't believers, of course. And so they had a lot more freedom to do sinful things, you know. And so I used to go do that. And then I had other neighbors from another house who were two brothers were from 18th Street, one brother from MS. And they they were family. They lived in the same house. Yeah, and sometimes I go kick with them, and they wanted to recruit me into 18, but I was like, nah, I didn't. And like, I always felt like, nah, like I don't want to gangbang. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, that's not me.
Was it
And,
because well, you had like kind of example you had seen from Carlos that you were just like, nah, I don't want to do that, or what kind of pushed
No.
it to just not, or it just wasn't in
Maybe
you?
it was because it was a certain gang. Like, I didn't want to get into that gang right there. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, it was this whole time it was like, oh, we used to go to church a lot and everything, and even as a kid, like sports. I wanted to get into sports, and I wasn't allowed to at that time, which I think would have helped. I think would have helped a little bit. Get me a little distracted with sports, with friends that play sports, not friends that have nothing to do. So let's go tag on the walls and let's go fight these people and let's go get high. But yeah, it's like when I got into high school and started going to Crenshaw High, it's like all the kids that I knew, like they were already on drugs, and some were gangsters, some were not, and we used to kick it together, and mostly we used to kick it and like get high and drunk together on whatever
This is like
drugs
during school hours.
during school hours. Sometimes it would be like under the bleachers. A lot of the times we started ditching, hopping the gate, and just going to like one of the homies' house that he had parents that didn't give a damn what he did. Yeah, like literally we went to his room and everything was tacked up inside. Like, and you could go in there and hit up too. Like, and then his stepdad will come and be like, oh, that's nice. And like, just pass the joint.
Yeah, friends like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that became like a normal thing. Like we used to go kick it in different homies' houses because their parents weren't there. Some of them were, some of them were not. And like pretty much it's like all you do is get high, and we got girls and go tagging and all that stuff and plan stuff. Okay, we're gonna fight these guys, we're gonna battle these guys, we're gonna do this, whatever. And that became like a normal thing for me. like ditching school and going to DPs, what they call DPs, ditching parties. And that's what the ditching party was. It was music, drugs, homies, and girls.
Back in those days, it was something that was like very big, which was party cruise, huh?
Yeah, I actually after I started tagging, and once I moved like to my mom's side, to like the east side of South Central, I started kicking it with a party crew, and that was like a thing. And then
Yeah.
I realized that the
That's not
party
a thing
crew,
no more. I don't think they even do that stuff anymore.
I don't know, but I realized that the party crew was made up of a lot of people that aren't gangsters. Some are taggers, but most of them were gangsters from different gangs that grew up together, and they just got together to go party. Like putting your gangs aside,
Like rival games, like
yeah, like rival gangs,
Oh,
and then yeah, but they grew up together, so it's like, oh, we know each other. Then they ever, oh, you ended up getting that hood, oh, I ended up getting this hood, but what's up, man? What's up? How you been? You know, and so it's like we have no beef, and we should get together and go to parties. But
that's crazy.
the connection here with the Lord is like it's like as a kid, even if you don't know, like you have to realize that if you grew up in the church and you have some knowledge of the Lord, there's consequences that are gonna come when you rebel. But the Bible also says that train up a child in the way that he should go, so that when he is older, he will not stray away from it. So that's a real thing,
Oh, yeah.
and I could testify to that. That's a real thing. Like I
we
let
got three
yeah.
tests.
Honestly, I wanted nothing. Like when I got to like high school, I wanted nothing to do with church. I didn't care about Jesus. I didn't even care if he was real or not. I wanted nothing to do with the Bible. Matter of fact, I used to tag up my Bible and on purpose rip pages without my dad seeing it and throw those pages away. So I was like, and I'll grab my Bible to throw it. My dad wouldn't see that. Like I used to mistreat my Bible. And of course my dad wouldn't see that, or he'll handle business,
Yeah.
you know? He'll handle business.
Dang.
But it's like the rebellion. It's like I feel like that moment, that night that happened with those chains, like something happened in the spirit realm. And I feel like, honestly, I believe I was spiritually chained at that time. Like I was already getting influence. So finally, bam, you're captive in the spirit. So now it's like you need to be set free, but nobody really knew I was captive, or nobody did a liberation on me, or none of that. Yeah, and it's almost like I wanted nothing to do with Jesus, nothing to do with God. I didn't care about who made the world or why we're here. I didn't care about none of that. All I wanted was the pleasures of life. You know, that's all I cared for. I didn't even care about the family. I didn't care about getting married, having kids, what my future was going to be. I cared nothing about that. Like I lived one day at a time and didn't even care about tomorrow. So I don't know about you guys. There was one time that I left my dad's house, and I don't know if you guys remember it. There was one
I
time
don't
that my
remember
son.
nothing. He probably
I remember
nothing.
one time when my dad slapped you.
Yeah, that's when I left the house.
Oh, that was that time.
That's when I left the house.
Bro, I feel like the only reason I remember these things is because like I think I what's the right word for it? I idolized you. Like it's almost like
Wow.
like I don't know, but like to me it was like everything you did, like I would
You
like
wanted
I
to
would
do
pay
it.
attention. Like I would peep game, like everything you did. Like it don't matter if it was the good, the bad, the times that like I remember a lot of things that you'll do that you probably don't remember. Like I remember like one time I was playing outside and on 4th Ave, if you remember, the hill went up.
Yeah,
And you could see all the way up the hill.
Yeah.
To like Florence.
To Florence,
almost.
yeah.
Yeah. And I remember one time I was playing and I looked and I seen somebody coming down the hill, like little, getting approached closer. And you started doing the whole like
I think the whole XB3, because I was kicking it with the dude from 18.
yeah, he started doing the whole XV3. And I remember that. And I was a kid. I was little, bro. And like it's something that like you wouldn't think somebody would remember, you know, like that's all you like as you were approaching, you're doing that, and I seen you, and it's like burnt in my memory, like seeing that, and sometimes I think
Well, I
about
don't
like,
even remember that. That's crazy.
you know,
That's
and
crazy.
like I think the reason why is because like I idolize you, one as like my big brother, and two as like the lifestyle, you know, like I used to watch like Blood In Blood Out, and I'd be like, I know somebody like that, like my brother's like that, you know, like even though I didn't know what you were doing on the outside, but like whenever I would see like gang stuff, or even if there was like dramas, you know, Victory Outreach used to do a lot of the dramas with the guns and stuff. Like to me, I pictured that's what you were doing when I didn't see where you were at, you know. To me, it was like that's tight, like that's what Junior's doing, like. So like to me it was like I want to be like that, like I want to do that, I want to do that too. Really up until we got here to Oregon, which is like when the graffiti life drew me in, and the whole gang life to me kind of disappeared. I was just like, I'm better at doing this graffiti stuff, and like I like this better. There's the gangs out here, they're like they're not like South Central gangs, like people ain't shooting out here each other out here like that. Now they probably are, but you know back then it wasn't like that out here. And
then the lifestyle.
I felt the same way. Like I thought that was like what you would do too, especially because I mean I can't remember much, but I think there was like a time where like one of your homies or something went to the house and he was either getting chased down and
Kenny, I remember that too. I remember that
Kenny.
whole day like a movie in my head.
I don't remember. It's like
That
it's a
whole
blur
night.
to me, but it like that itself kind of almost. I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely what he's doing. Like he's like killing people, shooting people, like you know, like murder and violence and stuff like that. And because I mean, I to be honest, I don't remember that story. I think
You remember seeing him?
I don't know. Do you remember seeing him?
Yeah, I remember that whole day. I'm telling you, there's those things that are like embedded in my mind.
Yeah,
Like
we
it
did
was-
used to go around and like beat people up like that.
Yeah.
And that was like part of the tagging thing. For us, the tagging thing wasn't just tagging and then see who tags better or who tags the most. It was like we're fighting, like we're beating you up with crowbars and baseball bats and rocks, and whatever we had. So those were our fights right there. And I remember that one time that the event you're talking about.
Yeah,
We went tagging that one night. Like, I snuck out the house and we went tagging down the tracks and we got caught slipping by another crew, and there were a bunch of them. And so we're like, oh man, there's too much to start throwing rocks at us, like big old train rocks. So we ran. It was four of us. We ran, hopped the gate and everything. When we got back to the house, we're like, where's Kenny? Where's Kenny? We're like, I don't know. And then open the door. Bah, 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 bah. Open the door.
My mom was the one
He
that opened
was
the door.
swollen, like full of blood and everything.
Full of blood.
Yeah.
There was blood on the ground. I remember because
Yeah.
I remember my mom opened the door, and she gave out this like this horrific scream. You know when you see someone like hi, like and
Yeah.
she opened the door and she was like hi, and I remember I was the first one. Obviously, I went over and I looked, and yeah, his face was all like bloody and
Yeah, it was swollen.
You probably thought like, oh, that's tight.
Yep, that's exactly what I thought.
Well-
I thought, damn.
Yeah, I know. And apparently, what we didn't know is that he actually turned around and wanted to fight these guys. But we were like completely outnumbered, so it wasn't even a smart thing to do. But he was just crazy like that, and we didn't know. They got him. They beat him up. They almost beat him. They were beating him with rocks, like throwing rocks at his face with a bat and everything. And he managed to get away. I don't know. They probably let him get away because there's no way he would have got away from them. But yeah, I almost forgot that.
Yeah, I remember you came out the house with a little bat. You had a little bat. I'm not gonna say what you called it, but
Yeah.
if those viewers that know, there's little bats.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember you came out the house with that bat, all pissed and stuff after you seen him. And mom was telling you to get back in the house and stuff. And
I see. I don't even remember that.
yeah, you
Yes,
came
yes.
out, and I remember you came out looking like you were looking from yeah, and then after that, it's just movies over in my head. I don't remember what happened after that.
Those are just events. Yeah, those are. And that was like during my high school days. That was Crenshaw already. Crenshaw, man, in Crenshaw it was like we have some corrupt teachers over there. It's crazy. They had some teachers that let us like ditch in their class and like literally had a refrigerator in there and a couch, and they were like, just kick it back there while I teach my class. And we'll literally be kicking it back there. We were tagging up his refrigerator, the couch, everything.
A lot of people think that's the thing about public schools, bro. A lot of people think you're in school, you're safe. Like, I remember when me and him were in high school, he would be cutting hair in the back of class, and I'd be tattooing in the back of the class.
Yeah.
I'd be in there with a machine tattooing while he's over there like cutting hair.
Yeah,
I used to let us do that.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
We ain't gonna name the school because they might get fired.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I had there was when I went to Jefferson High School, I used to smoke weed in the back of the class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we had a teacher there that just didn't even care. Like he would go on teaching as if everybody was paying attention, but there was only like 3 people paying
The whole
attention.
classroom was just hot box there.
The whole classroom was doing their own thing. Like literally, I'll light up a hit, and then it was a science class, so I'll open the drawer, blow it in there, close the drawer. The girls had their little spray that they put on themselves, so they'll be spraying. So it was cool. Like we had the whole back of the class was smoking weed.
Dang, it's crazy. Also, like that saying, like a product of your environment is very true too. You know, like I met people that are far from that lifestyle, and they grew up a completely different life. Like their upbringing and their growing up is like completely different, and you can tell in the difference of personalities, the way we talk, the way we move. It's not really that God hasn't changed us, but it's almost like where you grew up in and almost shaped every aspect of who you are now, you know. Dang, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, and all this stuff, taking it back to the church, because I like to take it back to to like the spiritual, what happened there. My dad knew that I didn't like church anymore. I guess he tried like getting me with like the youth of the church and everything, but it's like at one point they were good, like they were trying to get my attention a little bit, but then it's like they lost my attention. None of what they did was interesting to me. I didn't like their music. I didn't like reading Spanish Bible, and that's, to me, that was all there was, a Spanish Bible. Vosotros vuestros sois. Like, I understand that.
Reina Valera.
Yeah, 1960. You know,
1766.
So anyways, I remember there were times when we used to go to church with your mom, because my dad was at work, and then she'll still go and take us. And I used to sneak out. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll tag up the bathroom, whatever, and then I'll sneak out with somebody else. And then we'll be walking the streets, tagging the street, throwing rocks at cars in the freeway and all kind of crazy stuff, bro. Yeah. And getting in fights with other brothers' kids. Yeah, like fist fights. Yeah. And so at that time, it's like, what kept me trying to like follow that lifestyle was I used to see my older brother, and I used to see him and his homies, his music, like his style, and you know, all this stuff. And then another thing that they had an impact on me in a negative way was these dramas at church, like these gangster dramas.
Yeah, they used to do those a lot.
Yeah, and I guess I know the brothers do it with a good intent so people could see that so people that are in that lifestyle could see this is what's gonna happen, like this is what awaiting. But for kids or younger youth, it's something interesting to them. It like attracts you, like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do shootings. I want to gang bang. I want to do this stuff. I want to graffiti. I want to kick it with the homeboys. I want to do all this stuff. And it's like, it attracts. It attracts to where you ignore completely the whole life after their part, where other demons come and take your soul to hell, and all you focus is on this right here. And your mind stays on this, and you think on this, and that's all you want to do. You remember the music that they played. You remember the way they used to dress. You remember how they used to move and talk, and what kind of weapons they had and all that stuff, and you want it. And
yeah, because those victory outreach dramas, they had it almost like a little movie production. Yeah. They had the They had the guns when they shot them. The smoke would come out. You could hear it.
Like blanks
Like
or something.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I think they had blanks or something. And then they would do like I remember they would do like open air dramas with like you would have like lowriders there.
Yeah.
You'd have a whole
seen that.
movie scene. And then at the end was like this is what's gonna happen, you know. But before that it was like a whole gangster movie pretty much.
Yeah, and I think maybe those are meant to be for people that are in the lifestyle. They're invited, so they could see like this is what this lifestyle comes with: like, death, prison, tears, scars, and heartbreak. And but for the kids that are there that haven't known that are barely starting to be exposed to this, it's almost like it seems cool. At least to me, it was in LA in that environment. Since I started middle school, pretty much because I had to fight. You know, I had friends. You know, I mean, we used to wear uniform in middle school in Horace Mann. It was a uniform school, but still, like even then, it was like okay, we're kicking with our friends, and we have nicknames, all this stuff, whatever, and we're tagging, and I was like, we're fighting, and then we're doing drugs, and then we're fighting again, and it was like fighting. But yeah, when it came to the church, it's like I lost complete interest in the church. I don't remember. I think the brothers tried. Some brothers tried. I remember a sister and one brother that tried. Like they really liked me a lot when I was a kid and stuff. And they tried to get me involved and everything, but it wasn't always possible because of pop schedule and everything.
Like what do you mean? Like they tried to
like invite me
like
to certain
outreach
things,
like type thing or
to like invite me to go with them do like certain events, like let's say a vigilia.
Like include you almost. Like,
Yeah, kind of like Raymond, come with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of them is like a lot of these kids feel like they don't belong in that little crowd. Like they're not gonna be accepted in our little crowd.
I think me
Like,
and,
it's
Josh,
just
me
me
and
and-
Josh have talked about that before, like how because you know although Josh you know he was never into like the gang and stuff, but like you know he also has you know gone through things and went away from the church and done like you know sin and stuff. But the difference I think with Josh was that like he always was involved in it one way or the other, which was the music. And I think me and him have talked about it how like this is mainly for kids that growing up in church that grew up in church because if you didn't grow up in church it's completely different, you know. But me and Josh have talked about the fact that like having a responsibility in church or given something that you feel like you belong at in church, how that can shape you growing up, you know, regardless if you go away from the church or you go away from God, eventually God will draw you back. But you feel like you belong, you have something to do at the church rather than just because I'd never had nothing to do at the church. Like I never played an instrument at the church. I never was in charge of anything. So like for me, it was almost like as the moment I could get away from Jesus and the church, I did. And Josh was almost like he always had this thing, like this responsibility at church, you know.
I think that's what I feel like that's what a lot of things because like as kids growing up, I feel like they always lean to the thing where they actually feel like accepted, where they feel like they have like a place, you know. That's why I feel like a lot of kids, for example, they'll join a sport, right? And if just like their teammates, like let's say maybe they're just not as good, and their teammates just kind of put them down all the time, and you know they're not really being like a good sport or like helping them. Like that kid will be more likely to tell his parents like I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
It's like oh, but you know it's for fun. It's like, and it's not so much because he truly feels that he's just not good at the sport. It's just more like the environment I'm in. I don't know. I just feel like I don't
Like
belong.
they don't want you there.
Yeah, like they don't want you.
Yeah, and as a kid, I think, or as a youngster, it's something big, I believe, to feel like someone's looking for you because they want to hang out, you know, because they want to, you know, come be part of us, you know, but they're actively looking for you, and that feels like okay, I'm accepted. Like
I was
Like,
talking
it
I was talking to another brother, and that's actually one of like the topics that came up which it was like it feels like the friends in the world come and seek you out and look for you more than Christian friends.
That's
like
true.
and that's true because I have friends that are non-Christian, or when I was in the world, every day I get a phone call. What you up to? Let's go kick it. Let's go do this. What you up to? Like if you didn't call them or if you didn't talk to them that day, it was almost like what's up? We good? Like why are we not? And like, you know, when it comes to Christianity or just friends that are believers, it's almost like you don't got that. It's like everybody's got their own little life, you know, which is cool, but it's not like a like the friendship in the world, and that it, you know, it makes a lot of sense. And I was like yeah, like having somebody that's constantly wanting you is a big thing, you know. Unfortunately, in the world is they want you to go do things that'll lead you away from Christ,
Worldly things.
worldly things that'll cause you to sin and stuff. But that can be a thing in Christianity too. I've always felt like nobody can somebody that came out of the world that we came out of, or came out of the environment we came out of, it's not good for them to do this walk alone. They need a friend. They need they need a partner, a road dog, you know.
Yeah. And the world will call it a road dog. But the road dog's like it's always there. Like we're always together.
Yeah.
Like we go everywhere together. Like we're homies like that. Like we go everywhere together. A road dog or a crimey, like the one you do crimes together with all the time. But yeah, like I feel like that nowadays that is needed, and that's why I think a lot of youth go astray. That's because they're actually looking for them over here. You know, somebody's looking for them every day. What you doing? What you gonna do? All that stuff. Well, come. And they're actually making the time to get together somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, instead of, oh, I'm too busy doing this, or I can't do that. I can't. Nobody wants to kick it with you. Like, so they get bored, and these other kids, they have time. They have more freedom. And let's go here. I'll go pick you up. Or let's meet right here. Or let's this. And then, okay. It's easy to say okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not even like you could say like, oh, that's just because they're kids and stuff, because there's adults do that, bro. There's adults that don't know Christ, that they got wives, they got kids, but then they still got time to go kick it and drink all night or whatever, or they still got time to go kick it and smoke all night. They got families, they got kids, but they make the time to go and hang out with the homies, you know, or hang out with your friends.
If you go to Hulujuca, you go out there to Lupe's Tacos, every night you're going to see the same little bolita. And they're like 50, 60, 70-year-olds.
Oh, yeah?
Like,
Yeah,
you know,
just
and it's
kicking
just
it,
like,
drinking.
I don't think it has anything to do with age. I just think it's that, like what you guys are saying. It's
just
like,
it's something that's needed in Christianity. It's something that's needed. And you know, like I said, it's not for everybody, but some people can do it alone. But I feel like, no, especially if you trying to be a soldier for Christ, like, you need that. I don't know. Road dog is the only name I could call it, but I don't know what you would call it.
I guess I would categorize it more as like under the category of love. Because when you love somebody, you want to be around them, and it's not always like a romantic love. There's many different, like a brotherly love, or like and you want to be around them because, like, I love this dude, and you know, and so you want to be around each other, and not in a way of, and not in a weird way, but like in like a friend way, you know, kind of. There's like brother love, there's friend love, and
bro. And I noticed like when you have that, like you sharpen each other, like you keep each other in Christ. While I'm talking, I got a brother that's in California, brother Leo. Like when me and him get together, like because his testimony is almost the same as mine. Like we're graffiti writers. We both kind of know same crew, same people around. He's from California though, from out here. But when we get together, like we have almost similar mentality to where like, and we're now both Christian. Like I feel like my mentality is like, you know, like I'm thinking constantly of new things. Like, man, what can I do for God? Like, what should we do to, like, we almost sharpen each other. Like we keep each other like on our toes, and it's more of like, yeah, it's almost like you check each other. You know, you can't kick it with somebody and you're on fire for the Lord, and this is your one of your best friends and you're around them, you'll notice real quick, right? You'll notice real quick, like something's up, you know. So it's almost like now you don't want your friend to notice they this, so you keep yourself in check. You stay up on it, and him the same, you know. I think that's very important. And I think that's something that's not seen enough. What do you think? What do you think? Why? Like, why do you think it's like that?
Why do you think, Josh? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, the things of the world, obviously, they're attractive. You know, it's like momentarily pleasure. It's like a pleasure, obviously, that doesn't last, right? And I mean, I just think it's just really easy to, like, for example, like your homie hits you up, right, and you're in the world. It's easy to just get in the car with your homie and just smoke, and you just sit there and you're just smoking. You know, like you don't even have to be listening to music. You don't gotta be watching anything. Like, you're just literally just smoking and you're talking, like. And I feel like because like something so simple like that, so easy, I don't know, maybe it's harder, or I mean, not harder. I mean, I'm just kind of.
Well, it's different for you, right? Because like you actually, like with music, like you got a lot of, I don't know, but you got a lot of like people that like you hang out with and do music and stuff, right? Or
yeah, for sure. But I think it could get a little weird with music sometimes, because when you go and hang out with, like, for example, if you're so used to seeing like a friend, then every time you're around each other, it's like music. Sometimes it's actually weird when you hang out with them and it has nothing to do with music, because you're almost like, man, I actually feel like I don't even know you. Like, you know? Because every time I'm around you, it's just music, and we connect in that level, like, so good. But now it's like we're here, like, let's say we went to go grab some lunch. It's like, okay, like, you know, this has nothing to do with music, so it's almost like, yeah, let's just stay in our music circle, you know, like, I don't know.
I think that's part of it, though. That's part of it, though, because, like, look, like, say, I used to hang out with the homie that smoke weed a lot. We used to smoke a lot of weed, and that's pretty much all we did. But to say like we were gonna go hang out and not smoke weed or go do something else, I probably would feel the same way.
Yeah, right.
And I think the same way with like Christianity goes. If you got a friend and it's almost like if you guys are constantly either reading the Bible together or, you know, like Bible study or praying together, like if you guys do something that's not that, it'll almost feel like, what are we doing? Like, are we just kicking it for no reason? Like, so yeah, I think it's building that.
That is true, because like you say, you had a friend that were like pretty much, it was like your pothead buddies, and me too. It was like in LA, it was like I had people we used to kick it and smoke P dogs with, and whenever we weren't smoking P dogs, we wouldn't even kick it with each other.
What P-Dog?
Yeah, we wouldn't even. P dogs is it's weed with crack cocaine crushed up, and you kind of like snowflake it all inside, and then roll the blunt. And then you smoke it and get two highs. You get the upper and the lower.
Damn, how is that? Like, is it like, are you just like?
At first, you're like, it hits you, that cocaine rush hits you, and you're like this, you
like
know, while you're smoking. Yeah, while you're smoking a P-Dog and stuff. And then once that wears off, like you got the weed high, and then you get the munchies, or you want to just do nothing, just kick it. Yeah. But when I wasn't doing none of that stuff, it's almost like we wouldn't even hang out. Like, we'll hang out just because we're doing this same thing. Yeah. You know, this same thing.
I think it's just kind of maybe the same all around the board, wherever it is.
Well, bringing it back to the church.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the spiritual real quick. So, as time went by, skipping a whole bunch of stuff, I ended up going to juvie. I remember the first time I went to juvenile hall. I was already, I think I was like 17 or 16, 17, right in between.
What'd you go to juvie for?
So I put an M80, like I opened up the gas cap of a cop car, and I tried to light up an M80. Because I was mad and I wanted to
try to blow up a
cop car. Yeah, but it just blew up. The M80 blew up, but the cop car didn't. But
it blew up in the gas cap or what?
No, it just right there. Oh, like it didn't go in, and it didn't do what I wanted it to do. you know, and I was mad. But at the time already, I was already smoking a lot of P dogs. Every day is like when I left my dad's house, that one time that he slapped me, I left. I was mad. I'm done living here. So I grabbed my bike and my baseball bat.
You grabbed a wooden stick and tied a bag on it.
Yeah, and so I just left because since I grew up in a split home, like on the weekends I used to go see my mom, and my mom at that time was not a believer, and nobody in that family was a believer, and my older brother lived over there, and then my sister too. So I didn't have friends that were kind of in that lifestyle and everything, and so like every weekend I'll get that. Like I'll get this, the church from my dad's side, then I'll get the world from my mom's side. Even if I didn't want it, because that was just how they lived over there. And so I already like going every weekend I was already meeting people on this side and everything that weren't family, kicking it already. Sometimes I used to go on the weekends with my mom, and my brother's like, here, put the shirt on. We're gonna go next door to a party with the hoochies, and my mom would either she will go to work or she will go out herself, or go to sleep, and we'll go to the parties at night, like all night to the morning. And literally, it was like he was introducing me to that lifestyle. It was like what I wanted. He was just like, "All right, you kick it over there, and I kick it with my homies, and you just be over there, and I'll meet whoever over here, drinking, smoking chronic, doing some coke and everything." And so I already knew some people from this side. So whenever my dad hit me, and the reason my dad hit me is because he told me something or something, and then I looked at him like almost like I mad dogged him, and then my dad was like, "What?" Bah! So I was like, "Ooh, I didn't want to. I would never hit my parents. Like that's one thing I just would never do.
Yeah.
Not my mom, not my dad." And then, but
You know where I was at when that happened?
Where?
You remember there was a glass
In the living room?
in the living room was a glass thing. I was on the other side. I was outside.
Oh, for real?
I was outside, and we had a skateboard that I was like messing with.
He was always catching the movie scenes.
I'm always catching those, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I don't even know. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
I remember I used to make you fist fight.
You did.
Like, literally, you were little, skinny little kids.
And then he used to make me fist fight my best friend. And
I remember that. I do remember that.
Okay, that
I
was
was
not
like
cool.
a couple houses down, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're like, that's not cool. That's
That's not cool. But I was like, yeah, come on. And then his brother, which was my same age, Christian, he was like, yeah, let's make him fight. So, like if you guys were little roosters or something, like fight him. You know, man. And I remember you were always willing, like, yeah, and the other kid wasn't really sure.
Because he didn't like to fight. I remember that.
Yeah, and then you would go pam, 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 make him cry. And I was like, oh yeah. He was like, oh, stop crying.
No, but yeah, I was in my skateboard, and I remember I was at the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, whatever. But yeah, I remember looking at, and it was a big mirror or a big glass door, or glass window, like huge, like top to bottom. And I remember I literally caught that moment, just bah. Just remember him slapping you, and then I remember your face, and you stormed out of there. And it's crazy that like that happened, and then like probably you didn't know, but it's like little me on the other side.
Yeah, you're
and
watching.
like,
The devil's making sure you were watching all that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, I just think it's crazy that you were like seeing all this happen like every time, and your reaction was probably like, "Oh, that's cool."
probably was. I felt like I want to leave the house and not get older like that. Probably.
Yeah, I remember I got mad. I waited for my dad to go to work because he was leaving already. And I didn't say nothing. I waited. I was like, I'm out of here. And with my mom, I'm out of here. I think I told Jojo or something. Because Jojo was like, Jojo knew about a lot of stuff that I was doing. Like, even when I was selling weed out of my dad's house. And my dad didn't know, but I used to bring an ounce or 2 ounces and just start cleaning it up, get all the sticks out, the seeds, everything, start bagging it right there in the room. Yeah. And they never knew. And
you never like smelled it or anything?
They never told me anything. The only time my dad, I remember he whooped me that one time because he took me to church, because at that time my dad was like, I'm gonna go to church. You don't even want to go. I guess I don't know what was his mindset because I just didn't want to go, but he wouldn't leave me in the house by myself. So he'll leave me in the van or in the car, and I'll stay there. You know, I'll stay there, and I had like secret things to listen to music, and sometimes to bag out weed or whatever. But I remember this one time I was just chilling. I wasn't doing anything, and one of the brothers that used to take care of the parking lot, I guess he seen me in there, and he told my dad, oh, he's in there with some marijuana in there, I think. And my dad with me because of it, but I didn't have no weed. But and there were other occasions where I was even smoking meth inside the truck, inside the car,
Damn,
and my dad didn't even
services?
know during church service,
Damn.
during church service, and listening to like corridos or like gangster rap or oldies in the radio, Power 106, and my dad wouldn't even know, and because when I got locked up that one time for that cherry bomb incident, somebody called the cops real quick right there, so they got me real quick, like right after, like they got me real quick. They surrounded me, they evacuated people from the block, and
What'd they get you for then? Like,
I can't remember what the charge was.
Now
I didn't
it probably
even
would've
care.
been like a terrorist.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Some sort of terrorist.
I didn't even care at that time. Like I wouldn't look at no paperwork. I don't look at nothing. I was just like, I wouldn't even say nothing to the judge in the court. Like
how was that? Like, that was your first time going to juvie?
that was my first time getting locked up. Yeah,
Damn.
at all. Period.
How was that? Were you like scared, or were you like
no?
you just didn't care?
At that time I didn't care. I didn't care. I was like, I don't care. I didn't even know how much they have given me because I didn't even pay attention during the court or nothing. Like I was like, I didn't care.
So your
about
mind
nothing.
was just not there.
Yeah, like I just didn't care. And even my older sister signed up. She's like, man, I used to hate you when you were little because your response to everything was like, I don't care. I don't care. Hey, but this is gonna happen. I don't care. But if you do this, this is gonna happen. And she wasn't even Christian yet. This is gonna happen. I don't care. I don't care. Like, what you going to tomorrow? I don't care. Just didn't care. But so I went to juvie that one time. I think I was in juvenile hall 2 months, and then they shipped me to juvenile camp, Camp Glen Rock in San Dimas, and I was there 4 months in Camp Glen Rocky, and honestly, I liked it. I don't know why. But I liked the whole. It was almost like a military camp, but we didn't wear the fatigues or none of that. But literally, we had to march everywhere we went. We were not allowed to walk from here to there. You had to double time, so you almost had to jog everywhere. If you were caught walking, they will send you to the box, which is solitary confinement, for like a week.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. And so everybody, almost everybody that was there, and I wasn't even in the gangs yet. Like I was still, I was in the party crew now. I was 45th Street party crew. But I kind of viewed it as a gang, and I kind of treated it as a gang. Like I did some shootings for 45th before, and it wasn't even a gang.
It wasn't even a gang.
You know, it wasn't even a gang. And I
Was
remember
it just you like that? Like
nah,
that?
it was a few.
Yeah.
It was actually a bunch of us. But it was the younger ones, because the older ones, like my brother's age and kind of in between, they weren't into it. I remember they used to tell me, "Hey, you can't be tagging this up like that," and I was like, "So what? You scared of what?" And they didn't want to say nothing, and so I just keep doing that. But I went to juvenile camp, and it wasn't like, I remember, it wasn't like, oh, you need to change your life kind of experience. It was more like, I like this lifestyle. Like, here I am. The guards, the transport guys that are transporting us are bumping gangster rap. And as we're going to juvenile hall, everybody in there, you know, trying to draw better than the other person. As soon as you get there, where you from, all this stuff. And if you're from an enemy, you're fighting right there, right now. Yeah. And so it's almost like I liked it as a kid. I liked that lifestyle. And when I went to that camp, I really liked that camp. Everything was like a discipline thing. Personally, I think that if I would have changed course and got into the military instead, I would have been really great in the military. because I liked that kind of stuff. When I went in there, it was almost like a military camp.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it. I mean, it got kind of crazy a little bit.
They didn't offer like in those camps. They didn't offer like that.
I was still a minor,
Oh,
so the military you had to be 18.
18.
Yeah, and
It's just crazy, bro. Because when you're saying all this, like I'm picturing you already over 18.
Yeah.
It's like
this
the
happens
fact that you're still
this
like
literally
you're still
happened
young.
within a span from like a few years.
You get,
Like
basically your high school years, right?
my high school and a little bit after, because when I was 21, I came in. I went to prison.
Yeah.
So
That's
so
true.
so this literally happened like the succession, like this, one after another, and it just went boom, 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 worse. When I left my dad's house, my dad didn't know I had left the house. My mom didn't even know over there that I left because I wanted to live with her instead. She didn't know. So I just went and I went to 45th Street. That's where I went to.
Oh, so you didn't
Yeah.
go to your mom's house?
I didn't even go to
You
my
just
mom's house. I went to
straight
45th Street and I went to the people that I knew from the block right
Yeah.
there, from the party crew. And hey, what's up, Joe? What's up? Hey, what you doing here? And then finally, I told my mom, I was like, hey, I don't want to go back to my dad's house. She was like, what? I don't know what went through her mind or whatnot, but honestly, I didn't even care. It's like I had that I don't care mentality. I don't know why. I don't know why. I know it was satanic, and a lot of the music that I was listening to, like the NWA and that old school Easy and all that stuff. It was like I don't give a f. I don't give a f. And that was the mindset. I don't give a f. I don't give about life, about my future, about anything, about family. I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't care. You know, all I want is me and pleasure, me and pleasure. You know.
I have to think that unfortunately a lot of people die in that mindset.
Yeah.
And then they get to a place where they realize like, man, I should have cared.
I mean, once you're dead, yeah. But if you make a lot of mistakes that affect you in the future, and then you look back and you're like, stupid, like how stupid was I? But at the moment, you didn't think like that because it's fool. You're a fool, honestly. And we called each other fools. What's up, fool?
Yeah.
And the Bible says, it says, foolishness is bound in the heart of the child, and so even as your kids and starting to grow up, we have foolishness in our hearts, and so that needs to be corrected. It needs to be straight into the right way, So there needs to be. It's key, I think, that there's somebody right there to stray you into the right way, and there has to be a way to do it also, not by force.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like
Because-
for us, the Bible and Jesus was a punishment for us. Like for me and Josh, maybe for you too. But I remember like
That's what it felt like.
my dad, he didn't put us to read the Bible unless we got in trouble. He didn't like if we got in trouble, we were at church. If like it was all like the Bible was just a form of punishment to like for us. Yeah.
And I don't blame Pops because he didn't have a dad growing up either. So
Yeah.
and then he didn't grow up a Christian either. So he was learning as he went, and what he thought was best at the time was what he thought was best, but he had no experience with it. So he was.
And I can see that now because like Pops has changed a lot. Like as far as like who he was growing up, as far as with the word and stuff, like I've noticed a lot change. So like yeah, like to me, I've noticed that. Unfortunately, like in the recent years when I grew up, because I was a knucklehead too, and I would give him a lot of gray hairs, and he probably lost a lot of hairs because of like us. But like I wish I would have realized that at a younger age before I like huh.
That's that you guys, not me.
Yeah, that bottom side of the head, that's all Josh. That bottom side that
Keeping it
didn't
held
fall
together.
off. That's all Josh.
Josh like,
Yeah.
don't worry, Pops, I got this.
I got
I got this.
Dang, like, wait, so how long were you in juvie?
So that first
Or in
time,
that camp? It was camp.
it was juvenile camp, Cambly and Rocky. I remember when they transported me over there, it was like they had a meeting right there in the office, and they included me in the meeting. They were talking, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? Then they asked me, "What do you think? How should we do this?"
Wait, who?
The camp director, the camp director. It was this white guy, this tall white guy, and this dude, like, we used to think at that time that he was the coolest because he didn't look serious about anything. Like, for example, whenever we came out for rec, before we even were allowed to play anything or to use a phone or to use a waypoint, we had to do exercises together. And so when he was in charge, he would just be like, "All right, come on, 1, 2, 3." He was like, and he'll do other signs, 1, 2, 3, all right, go. And so with him, it was like everything was smooth, and he just didn't care. And we love that. We thought he was the coolest, because he just didn't care. Instead of feeling like, this is like a military camp and you're gonna listen or else. And so, but camp was I can't say it was a correcting experience for me, because all I did was get more ideas from people that were there that used to do other sinful stuff, and how to do other drugs and about these other drugs and everything, and so I did that time. And then I guess my mom and my dad talk, okay, where's he gonna go out to? I'm gonna go down to my mom's house. So my girl at that time, I told her I'm getting out this date, and then she told the homies I used to get high with at that time, and so they came together. That same day I got out, they came out. I was healthy, I was kind of buffer because I've been hitting the weights and all that. And they came out to look for me that first day I got out. Damn. And so they went. My mom was living in East LA at that time, and they went there, and they were like, hey. They went outside, so I'm like, all right, we'll go see the homie. And then my mom stood at the door like, I'm watching you. No, I'm watching you. So I was like, all right, Mom, don't worry, I'll be right here. So they pulled up the cutlass right there, and they showed me they had a box full of blunts of P-Dogs, bro. And so they probably had like 30 P-Dogs right there. And they were like, come, like, let's smoke.
Like a little celebration for you getting out?
We did this for you. And I was like, damn. I was like, when I started kind of like fiending for it, I was like, man, I want that. And then the phone rang. So my mom called Alan. He was younger at that time. Hey, watch your brother. And as soon as I seen Alan there, I jumped through the window. We took off. And we're literally we're literally hotboxing the cutlass all that day, all night. And my mom called my dad. My dad he had an Astro van, a white Astro van. He was looking for me over there in the
my
hood.
dad's the king of chasing you down.
Yeah,
huh?
And then he went chasing. He bumped into him. We were smashed away from him. He was smashing too, right behind us, breaking all kinds of speeding laws. And we were hitting alleys and everything. There he was. We got away from him.
Hey, but that right there, man. Look at the Father's love, though.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
look at the Father's love.
And as the times go by, like I'm still learning the stuff that my dad used to go through when I was in that stage that I never knew. Like when I left the house, and whenever I was doing bad at my mom's house, it's almost like I left. It's almost like I was homeless for a time. Like I had nowhere. I was staying.
You were, bro. I remember one time my mom got me in the van, and we went around looking for you in the streets. And we found you, and you were like super skinny, all bald, dirty, and like I said, I don't know why, but these memories like are engraved in me. And like, yeah, and I remember I asked my mom like, Junior, ¿por qué está así? And she was like, es que Junior vive en la calle. And like, I remember that,
And you know what's crazy? Now that you say that, it brings to mind almost, not exactly, the prodigal son. Yeah. He left. My dad didn't give me. an inheritance or whatever. But I left and I was good. I was healthy. I had clothes. I had a place to live. I had the stuff, And then I left that because I wanted the world, And then the world brought me to this state where I was living in the streets, dirty. I was skinny. I was deprived of sleep, deprived of food, deprived of water. I had like it was like I was homeless, bro.
Wow.
Like literally, I was homeless. Like I would sleep sometimes. Like I used to climb the roofs of like schools to sleep at night, and then climb down like early in the morning, and then go on a mission. My mission was getting high, get money to get drugs to get high, and that was my everyday mission. Get high, whatever comes with it, and that was like when I was 17.
It's a cycle, right? It's like get money to get drugs to get high, so that you can get money to get drugs to get high.
So the whole mission at that time, it got to a point where all my mission was to get high and nothing else mattered. Like nothing else mattered. Like the family mattered. And you know what's crazy? That the enemy at that time used to put in my mind like suicidal thoughts, and to the point where like, yeah, nobody loves you. Like look at yourself. Like look at you. Nobody loves you. Nobody loves you. And I used to think that. And you know what's crazy? That sometimes my mom and Sonia and them, they used to go look for me and find me, and I'll run away from them, and they'll try to chase me, but I'll get away from it, and then I'll be like, nobody loves me. And now I think about it, I was like, they were looking for me. How do they not love me if they were looking for it? My dad too. Like they were looking for him. How does he not love me? Because I used to think my dad like, oh, I hate my dad. He doesn't love me. He don't treat me like he loves me or whatever. But he was out there looking for me. Yeah. Like that, now it's recent that I learned that my dad used to go buy burgers and look for me at night on the Brender bridges, bro. Damn. And wouldn't find me. It's almost like I didn't know that. And at the time I didn't care. Like I didn't even want to see my dad. But now it's like, now that I have wisdom, and I see that, and I'm like, damn, like he really did love me, and I can't believe I made him go through this. But I was bound, and I'm not saying that as an excuse. Like I had no choice because all of those were choices that I made. Yeah. I chose to get high. I chose to leave my dad's house. I chose to live this lifestyle. I chose this. Of course, the enemy was influencing every choice right there, but there were choices, bro. And thank God I didn't die during that time frame, because I did have a couple friends that died.
You had like a best friend that
I had right? I had a roll dog, and we were only friends because we used to get high together, and I didn't, you know what? I didn't even know his real name. We called him Shook because he looked like Shook Knight, Mexican Shook Knight, and he used to rap in Spanish. Like as we were high, he used to start flowing like in Spanish and stuff, and in English, and yeah, one night I remember I was staying at this one place that was abandoned, but it belonged to the dad of one of the homies, and he had a bunch of stuff and like a shed in there with stuff, and he was like, you can stay there. So I was staying there, and we used to keep some guns there too and everything. That place was just to get high, literally. Like I saw things, I saw demons there in the trees that looked like monkeys. Yeah, and it wasn't just me, it was like me and like 4 other people. So it wasn't a hallucinating because I'm on high thing. It was a real thing that we saw, a real demon that was in that place. But we didn't care at that time. Yeah, they, and we weren't even, and I wasn't even on the gang. He wasn't even on the gang life at that time. We were still party crew. Damn. But we were with guns and stuff shooting like we're gangsters, like we're in a gang. And sure enough, in LA, a lot of it happens that, sometimes they kill people for no reason. Sometimes people sometimes death is out there and he wants blood. He wants a soul, and he sends people and gets a soul. Especially if we're not saved, we don't have to cover the blood of Jesus. If nobody's praying for us, we're easy prey for the enemy. It don't matter how big and buff you are. You easy prey. And sure enough, I remember that one time, he went looking for me. I I think I was mad or something. I was like Malillas or something, and I was like, come back. And so he went around the block. Next thing you know, we heard some shots, bah, bah, bah. And then somebody said, "Oh my God, caught slipping." So I remember I grabbed the shotgun at that time, hopped that gate, ran down the street, no shirt, shotgun in hand, everything. And I seen a car taking off. I didn't even know if that was a car, bro. I started shooting at that car. I loaded the whole shotgun at that car, and I looked to the block, and there was the homie's car with the door open. And I was like, oh, I was like, they got him. They got him.